And our first storyteller's secret fact is that she can speak fluent Dutch. Dutch? Will you do me a favor? When you come up, can you say true stories told live in Dutch?
Sure.
Okay, I bet it just sounds really cool. Okay, please welcome Christel Bartelse.
Echte verhalen vandaag. Does anyone speak Dutch here? Because I could totally be making that up. All right. We're going to pre-mix all of our drinks. We can't afford anyone putting any roofies in them or any other kind of drug. Which reminds me, guys, we can't take drugs. I know it's going to be tempting, but don't do any drugs. And we're also going to meet every hour on the hour. And as I say this to Samantha and Tim, I realize that even though I'm only 5 years older than them, I've completely killed the buzz, and I sound like their mother. We are on the island of Koh Phangan in Thailand, a small island just off the east coast of Thailand. We are there for the Black Moon Party. The Black Moon Party takes place once a month. It's known for its debauchery, its trance dancing, essentially a beach party where up to crowds of 1,000 people can come. Now, 7 months prior to this, I'm traveling around Australia on my own. I bought a one-way ticket from Toronto to Sydney. I'm ready to get out of the country. I need to explore, find myself, as they say. I arrive at George Street in Sydney with a giant suitcase, a giant backpack. I've got nowhere to stay, very little money. I have no idea what the fuck I just did. But after a while, I find a place to stay. I get a job. I work for a few months in Sydney, and then I travel all the way up the East Coast over the next several months. I end up in Melbourne. 7 months later, I've also gained 15 pounds. This is because I had my own debauchery. And in Australia, it's very difficult to say, "No thanks, mate, I'm good." It's just all about the drinking. So now I've decided I need to go somewhere else, a vacation from my vacation, to get away. So I pick Thailand. When I tell people this, they laugh at me because Thailand is known for its debauchery, and I'm going to get away from drinking in Thailand. But I choose Koh Samui, an island opposite of Koh Phangan, an island known for its quiet, remote little area. I book myself into a little resort on a very remote beach. I'm on Koh Samui. I'm loving Thailand, minus the fact that I'm getting bitten to shit. I stay in this little resort for a few days. I get Thai massages. I lie on the beach. I eat cheap food. It is fantastic. After a couple days, I'm one day walking along the beach when I hear, "Christel! Christel!" Now, I am one of these women who's already shocked if I'm standing on the corner of Dundas and Ossington and someone calls my name. In a city so big that we can still run into people every day. But now I'm in the middle of Thailand on a remote beach and someone is calling my name. I think I'm going crazy. But when I turn around, I see Samantha and Tim. They're not a couple, they're just good friends. They too had been traveling around Australia and they ended up in Thailand. 2 months prior, we met on a 4-day trek in the outback. In the outback. And now I run into them in Thailand. We laugh and laugh. We can't believe we're all there together. And they ask me if I plan on going to the Black Moon Party tomorrow. Again, I'm trying to get away from the debauchery, but I heard that this is a must-see. So I agree to go. The three of us get a ferry the next day. We travel to the island of Koh Phangan. We book ourselves into a little resort right by the beach where the party will take place, the three of us in one room. And when we get there, okay, guys, so we're going to pre-mix our drinks. We can't afford anyone putting any roofies in our drink or anything else for that matter, any other drugs. Right, we can't take drugs. It's going to be tempting, but don't take any drugs. And also, we're going to meet every hour on the hour. Oh, right. And since we only have one key for our room, we're going to find a really good place to hide it so we can always come back and put it there for the next person. You see, after traveling for 7 months in Australia, I'd been warned that anything could kill me. A great white, a crocodile, a dingo. I'd been safe for 7 months. I had felt like Superwoman. I had conquered Australia. I wasn't going to let Thailand get me down. And I had heard great things about this Black Moon party, but I knew we had to play it safe. There'd been overdoses, people getting way too drunk, there'd been assaults, even some rape. I wanted to have a good time, but I wanted to be safe. It's a late afternoon. I pre-mix all of our drinks. We take our thermoses. We head down to the beach. And slowly, people start coming in. Samantha, Tim, and I, we hang out in the cafe with some of the locals and some of the other tourists. I go and explore a little bit, but every hour on the hour, I come back and I see Samantha and Tim. We're all having a great time. The night is getting later. The music is trance-like. It's pumping through the whole beach area. I can feel the warm sand on my toes. The moon is stunning. There's bonfires everywhere. This is fantastic. I meet up with 5 people from Uruguay. 2 girls, 3 guys. I am drawn to Patrick. He's very attractive. We sit down on the beach, we have a good time. We dance, we drink some of my pre-mix from my cooler. And I'm disappointed a little bit later when he says he already has to leave. Their ferry is taking off. They're going back to another island. They're not there to stay the night. I've lost track of Samantha and Tim, but I'm okay. They must be okay. After the group from Uruguay leaves, I find myself alone. There's people passed out, people dancing, everything's going on, everyone's having a good time. It's quite late, I dance a little bit longer, and then I take it all in. I plunk myself down in the sand, and I take it in one last time. The night's winding down for me. A gentleman about 28 comes and sits beside me. I would say he was a local, but when he goes to speak, he's got this Thai, Danish, German accent. So bizarre. I'll call him Danish. He asks if I like a drink. Now, by this time, I had run out of my pre-made drink, so I agreed to take a beer. But of course, to be cautionary, I walk with him to the bar to make sure he doesn't put anything in my drink. We come back, we sit in the sand, and after 2 minutes, I realize I'm not enjoying the conversation. It's quite late. There's still people dancing, but the party has dwindled down. I'm sure it will go until the morning, but it's already morning to me. As I walk back on the dim-lit path towards our little hut, Danish is walking beside me. He keeps talking, asking why I don't want to hang out with him. I make it back to the hut, and I realize, shit. I'd been very cautious the whole night, but I forgot to find that hidden place to put the key so we could all get into our room. I don't have the key. Samantha or Tim has the key, but I can't find Tim. And when I look in the little peep from the curtain, I see that Samantha is passed out on the bed. I walk up the 3 little steps on the porch. Danish keeps talking to me. I knock lightly, trying to show my calmness, just knocking, tap, tap, tap on the door, hoping that she'll open it. Danish proceeds to keep talking to me. Why don't you want to hang out? Come back to the beach. Thank you so much. I've had a great time. Knock, knock, knock. As he keeps getting persistent, I keep knocking harder, 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 hoping that she will wake up. I keep pounding, pounding. Why won't you hang out? Don't you like me? Don't you like me? Pound, pound, pound. And then the next punch is in my face. 3 more punches. I think it's 3. It could be more. I instantly sober up. I have no idea. Because I said no, this guy is punching me in the face, and with the last punch, I go down. I smell puke, but I think I've fallen in somebody else's. Danish gets on top of me, and I don't know what would happen next, but I hear, "Hey, get off her!" I don't know whose voice this is, but I am so grateful. Danish gets up so fast and runs away faster than I went down. This woman comes over to me, rushing over. I'm just in shock, and so is she. It turns out to be Tammy, the woman who runs the resort, who had originally given us the key in the first place to our room. I am feeling blood pouring out of my lips, my nose. There's snot, there's tears. She picks me up and we walk to the cafe. She gets me ice. Meanwhile, the trance music is continuing. Everyone's still having a good time. I finally run into Tim. I tell him quickly what happens without finishing the story. He goes on a mission to find this guy. I didn't even describe what he looked like. I don't even know. He is so angry. I get ice, and 20 minutes later, Tim comes back, still full of rage, but he can't find him. And there's no point going to the police. They're just as corrupt. They're going to do nothing. I walk back to my room with Tim, who feels terrible that he has the key. I go in the room, I pass out, hoping the next morning I'll realize that maybe this was just a dream. 3 hours, and the sun starts to peer through the window. As I wake up, I try to do a morning stretch, but I feel so much pain, as if someone beat me up. Oh, wait, they did. I'm still wearing my crusty clothes. My lips are pierced tight. They're filled with dried blood. My right eye is shut. My cheek is so swollen. Samantha wakes up. It's her first time she's woken up in the night. She looks over and she is in shock and starts to cry. I tell her what happened and she feels awful. She never woke up. I tell her it's not her fault. And I go to the bathroom, and that is when I was in shock, because at first I just felt it. Now I'm seeing it. I have had some bad mornings in my day, but this one's taking the cake. I can't believe what I look like, but I decide to put on sunglasses and even attempt to put on some lipstick, because this will make it all better. Samantha decides we should go to the pool and just chill out. As I walk to the pool of the resort, there is still evidence of the party the night before. We walk to the pool, and instantly 10 people slowly get out of their chair. Tammy must have told them all what had happened. There were Sarah and Robert from London. Even though I had met them for just a few minutes the night before, they came running over. They're on their honeymoon, but they tell me from now on in, I'm more than welcome to travel with them. There's Ben from Germany who gets up, puts his towel around me, goes and gets me a lemonade, and says he's happy to travel with me as well. There are 5 guys from Sweden who are still discussing how they can find this guy. They are on a mission and say they will protect me. I am like an instant celebrity because this happened. Everyone trying to take care of me. I've never felt so protected. I decide to go off with Robert and Sarah. We go to another beach, and they tell me I can stay with them that night, even in their room. They're on their honeymoon. That's just weird. But as I stay on my own that night, I do have nightmares, tremors. I worry about this guy coming back. So I decide and tell everyone I want to go back to Koh Samui, where I was first at peace, the quiet little island. Everyone worries about me, but they tell me if that's what I want. So I travel back to Koh Samui. I'm back where it all started, except I am covered now in more bites. My lips are swollen. My cheek is mangled. My eyes are both blue. But I am happy and I am at peace. I decide to take a shower, and that night I'm going to go out. I'm not going to let this stop me. And then I'll figure out the next plan. It's probably time to leave Thailand. As I'm washing my hair in the shower, getting a nice soapy lather, all of a sudden the water stops running and the lights go out. Really? The power has gone out on the island. I have a big mop of soapy hair. I try and brush it out. I throw my hair in a clip. I throw on a dress, and I start walking down the street of Koh Samui, and it begins to rain. Because what else could go wrong? I am covered in bites. I'm limping from a cut I had on my foot. I have a mangled face, and I just duck into a little shack bar. I order myself a double gin and tonic. And as I'm watching the chaos, the locals trying to get the power up, all the tourists either running for cover or drunk, skipping in the puddles, I am so at peace. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm just taking it all in. I realize I've gotten out of these 7 months everything I wanted. And very loudly, I just say, I think it's time to go home. Thank you.
Christel Bartelse.